Over there. Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. You have caught me taping my hockey stick. Well, I'm sure glad you joined me because today we're going to talk about the all-new CCM FT8 Pro. Hopefully you'll stick around and join me. Guess who's back? Back again. Tell your mom and a friend. Okay, so goofy, I know. Guitar Slinger Hockey Channel's back after a long hiatus, and lots of stuff happens in my life. Okay, so some good stuff and some not so good stuff has happened in my life. I will not bore you guys with any of that stuff, but I will tell you that I am finding some more time now to get back into making some videos here and there, and figured this I would start off with this lovely looking stick here that I don't really like that much, but that could just be a me thing. We're going to go over it, and I have some time with this thing now. Not very much. This is just a first impressions. I've only been on the ice with one stick and puck, and it managed to injure my right elbow. But we're going to talk about it. By the time... Actually, I shouldn't say I've only been to one stick and puck. I always do this when I'm making a video. The reality is this usually gets made over a couple of days, so by the time you're watching this, I will have a stick and puck plus a pickup game with this stick. And usually that's all it takes for me to get a feel for a stick, just because I try so many things out. I realize that there's a lot of people are going to ask about, hey, how long does this thing last? I don't know. It could last a week. It could last 4 years, depending on how hard you are on sticks. So I'm not going to speak to durability or anything like that. But it is CCM, and as of late, and you can see, if we're going to hit the ceiling, it says the word helicoid on it, or helicoid. So that means it's either been fixed or it's garbage. So we will get into that a little bit, though, from some things that I've heard from people more smarter than me. So let's get into the review, and we'll start talking about it. Okay, so let's talk about the options that I was looking at when I was eyeballing this stick. So for reference, I've been using the Bauer Hyperlite 2. I've used that, a couple of versions of, well, I've gone through two of those. Tried the Twitch out for a while. Did not like that one, strangely. But anyways, the choices on the table for me were this plus the Warrior LX3 Pro and the Bauer Flylight. I was very intrigued by the Warrior sticks because I have tried out the Novium 2 Pro and the QR6 Pro, and those were vast improvements from what I've seen from Warrior in the past. Plus the 60-day warranty, hard to overlook that, especially with the prices of sticks nowadays. So basically, what I was interested in is now that Warrior has recently come out with the P90TM curve, which is what I've been using. It's not my favorite curve, but it is, using that allows me to kind of go across different brands of stick. And I saw that, well, Warrior was coming out with not only the P90TM curve I think it originally released on the Novium 2 Pro, but they're coming out with that, as well as making a full-length senior 70 flex instead of going from 75 down to an intermediate, which I thought was pretty cool, because my experience with the Alpha line of sticks is always that they've always felt a little on the stiff side for flex. I typically use 75 in CCM, 77 in Bauer, and then I could be, actually, depending on which stick in CCM, I can do 75 or 80. I can do an 80 in attacks, but that's a little much for all the other stuff. But the Warriors have typically felt a little bit, the Alpha specifically has felt a little stiff to me. So the fact that they came out with a 70 flex and a P90 curve, I'm like, okay, I'm listening. However, and then of course the Bauer Flylight was very intriguing to me because I've been using a Hyperlite too. The only problem with that one was that they were using the Bauer Twitch taper on it, which is that similar higher kick point that they were using on the Twitch stick, hence the name. So I was a little bit turned off by that, and to me, being the fact that I play forward and defense, I was very interested in something where I could actually stand still and take wrist shots. And that's just a lot of these sticks nowadays, they work best when you're moving and stride and take a shot in stride. I just like, that works when I'm playing forward, no problem. But when I'm playing just defense and standing on a blue line and need to take a wrist shot, I need something that can handle that. Hyperlite wasn't super good at that. I think that probably top of the circles was where that one shined. But I was looking around, and one of the things that I just felt like this particular stick would do most of the things that I needed it to. It's supposedly a hybrid kick point, so I'm not even going to pretend I know where on the shaft that it's going to kick at, where the hinge points are. But what I do know about Jetspeeds, having owned them in the past and tried sticks out in the past, they are extremely stiff for flex. So I knew that even though I can use a 75 to 80 in the rib core and the tax line, I'm dropping this bad boy down to a 70, which is what I did. The other thing that I thought was pretty cool about this is that they are now, I hate how it turns upside down like this, but the bottom line is there's a P29 curve with a 1/4 inch of extra height. So if you go back and look at any of my videos, the biggest issue I've had with the P29 curve, the P29 is actually my favorite curve, but the throat height has always been way too low, and pucks tend to skip over the top of it. This makes it essentially the same height as a P90 TM, like right in this area, but you get the P29 curve benefits, which is, I love it. It's a lot nicer. Great for puck control, great for all that stuff. So you're not going to be losing pucks. Losing pucks with this curve. So the fact that they offer it in full length 70 with a P29 1/4 extra height on it, basically max height, I thought was super cool. I'm also a sucker for different colorways on sticks too. This definitely makes it play better, the fact that it's blue. So anyways, I'm like, okay, well, this one seems like it's going to be the best option for me. I was supposed to make a road trip up to Canada to try all this stuff out, but that got canceled, so I kind of had to gamble and choose the stick here. So the biggest thing I was concerned about was durability on this thing, which obviously we're not going to know that for a while. But this stupid blade, this helicoid blade, these are garbage. This CCM is typically the company that I go through for my sticks, and they just kind of crapped the bed over the last year or whatever since they've been putting these blades in their sticks, and they're all the same. And they tend to snap in this area, or if you twist them, they're like making that crumpled up aluminum foil paper bag sound. After not very many uses. And I mean, my wife uses it and has already dealt with that on a Trigger 8 Pro. And it's just not a good blade. And so from what I've been told and what you guys should know about this, the first question I ask is like, to the people that I trust, that I talk to, I go, have they fixed the stupid blade? So you may have heard online that we have the heel portion of a FT8 Pro, which is soft, and then the toe, which is like hard, like a FT8 Pro. So from trying this out already, the technology people innovate things, but it doesn't necessarily, they're not going to just trash everything they've done in the past. This feels, for all of you older guys, this feels exactly like a Trigger 2 Pro or a Trigger 3 Pro blade, because they had a diving board style blade, so it was stiff at the toe and soft in the heel. And they've since moved to soft blades throughout for the Trigger line. But if you've ever used those Trigger 2, those Trigger 3, maybe even the 4 and 5 even, they had the kind of the hard toe and soft heel. That's what this is right now. So I will say I can feel a difference, and I'm going to show some like stick handling stuff in this video. I'm not just going to yammer on the whole time. But they were trying to do something different. My understanding is that some of the retail stores that I was speaking to about this blade have, we'll just say, given CCM an earful about how garbage these blades are on their entire lineup. This blade is supposed to be an improvement in durability specifically over what has been released in the past. Again, time will tell. But so the point of telling you this is that CCM has acknowledged that the blade durability is not good. So it's something that's good that they acknowledge that, because it means they're gonna, somebody, hopefully there's somebody there that's smart enough to know that they just can't keep, all these warranty returns are going to cost a lot of money, and the stores aren't going to be happy, let alone people like me and you guys who are buying this stuff. So in theory, the durability should be a little bit better on the blade on this stick. But the thing that worries me a little bit is that they still kept that soft heel area. I would rather deal with a firm blade throughout the whole blade so it actually doesn't break down on me and snap in half. Because that'd be nice for it to last longer than 5 minutes on the ice. So, other than that, I mean, they have this new stuff in it, what they call it, Alumiply or plywood or whatever it is. Who knows? We'll see. I don't care about that kind of stuff. I care about how it feels. So, anyways, the reason I went with it, got a taller blade on the P29. You can do 70 flex in the Jetspeed full length, senior size, which allows me to counteract the overly stiff profile that the Jetspeed sticks have. And because also the fact is I'm 5'9", so I have to cut the stick down a little bit. So that's just going to make the thing feel like it's stiffer, even though it doesn't actually change the flex rating on it. It's just like going to be that placebo effect or that leverage point. So it's something you guys should know about. It is a very, very stiff stick for its flex. Like, this is, even at a 70, this still felt like it was stiffer than a 75 in other manufacturers. So something to be aware of. But anyways, that's why I chose this. I thought this one would be the best of all worlds, as good as it's getting right now. And then, we'll have to see how it goes. But let's get into some stick handling and some shooting footage of it, and you guys can kind of, and I'll talk through that as I'm kind of tell you what's going through my mind as I'm stick handling and shooting. So let's get into that. Okay, so today we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to be doing some shooting. We're going to obviously try out the new Jetspeed FT8 Pro. We're going to try it out against our Hyperlite 2. The Trigger 8 Pro. I'm curious about this one because the blade is the same blade supposedly, or supposedly different, I don't know. And finally, we have an old one here, the AS4 Pro. So let's check out some stick handling, see if I can tell a difference. Okay, we're going to start off here with the FT8 Pro. As I'm stick handling with this, I can actually feel the soft heel and then the harder toe as I get closer to the middle, to the toe of the blade. So that is something that I could feel. Overall puck handling, felt pretty good actually. I didn't have any complaints about it. It was nice having that taller blade available to me. Okay, and this is a Trigger 8 Pro. As soon as I started stick handling with this one, I could feel a significant difference, even though these have a similar blade on them. The whole blade on this stick felt like it was very dampened and soft. I didn't really like it. It didn't really have that pop. It didn't have that spring. It was very noticeable when I switched from the Jetspeed to the Trigger. Ah, yes, one of my favorites, the old AS4 Pro Super Tax. The blade on this one felt really great. It was kind of a combination between it was stiffer than the Trigger blade, but softer than the Jetspeed blade. I could tell exactly where the puck was at all times. This is a traditional P29 curve. It's not the max height version. I really enjoyed playing with this one, and this one shoots like a beast too. Still, it shoots hard after all these years. Okay, now we're doing the Hyperlite 2, which is what I've been currently using, and I actually think that blade feel on this one is probably its weakest point. Receiving passes, passing to people and stuff like that. It's not that great at it. It really is best at just sniping shots. So it is a good stick though. It feels really good overall. I had a pretty good idea where the puck was, but it does have an extremely stiff blade in comparison to everything else. Okay, I am using the FT8 Pro here again now that I got a chance to use everything else. I wanted to see how it felt in kind of double checking it out here. I do think that it does stick handle quite well. I felt like I had good control with all the goofy stuff I'm doing here with my Bush League talent. But you know, I'm a fan. I got no complaints over the blade. I will say that I could see how someone might want a more consistent blade just because of the soft heel and the stiff toe, but control was great. Okay, so now I'm going to do some of my first shots ever with the FT8 Pro, and pretty early on I noticed I was going to have to get used to the way the stick felt. You may see it here a little bit, but as I'm taking a shot, you know, that one was a little hard. That was actually on the ice, didn't get off the ice at all. That second one, it's basically it's feeling a little hard to get the puck off the ice for the first couple of shots. It's right there. It's about a foot and a half off the ice, and I start to kind of figure it out. But what I'm noticing is that I'm having to put a lot of effort into taking a wrist shot and shooting it. So I'm not quite sure. I'm kind of trying to figure out the kick point right now, which is definitely different. That was a really good shot, and I kind of started to figure out what was going on with the stick in that it doesn't really like wrist shots that much, like the sweeping kind. Even though I took the flex down to a 70 from a 75, it still doesn't really like anything but the snapshots. It's kind of like anytime I try to do an older school wrist shot, things like that, not super good. So what that kind of means is that those like mini clappers, half clappers, that kind of stuff seems to really like that. Seems to like the snapshots. I think I might have one more snapshot in me here that looks good. I think it might be this one. Yeah, like that one looks good. So that's pretty much just keeping the puck on the toe and sniping it. So long story short, like snapshots, likes mini clappers, not a big fan of wrist shots. So one of the things that I noticed while I was out there shooting, and something that hasn't happened to me, I'm not sure ever, was that the kick point was throwing me off enough that it actually hyperextended my right elbow. So it's like strained now, and I had to actually leave the stick and puck early. It did not like the fact that I was leaning into shots. It wants these like it's weird because it's if I give it kind of a flick of the wrist and I get the top hand doing my snapping motion like you're supposed to do. It did like that, but the more energy I put into the shot, it actually liked it less. If that makes sense. So. For what that's worth. So I can't tell if I don't like the stick because it's not how I shoot based on my mechanics. I tend to like either a mid kick or a low kick, just one or the other. I don't like stuff that kind of does everything well because really it just does everything mediocre is what usually happens. But at the same time, I did get some good shots off, but the fact that it kind of effed up my elbow sucked. So we'll have to see what happens, how that goes over some time. So overall, puck feel was really good. Passing seems like it's better than the Bauer Hyperlite. We'll have to just see if I get used to it overall, but a little more to come after. More to come. Okay, so this is the part of the video where I talk about how it went during the one and only pickup hockey game that I did. So first of all, let me see here. I don't know if you can see that. So we can see in this area, we have a couple little chips or scratches. They kind of seem superficial. This kind of stuff doesn't usually bother me. There's one on the back side here. That's from me being stick lifted as well as stick lifting people. I don't really see any structural issues with that, but we'll see. And this stuff right here is like stick sliding up the shaft and down the shaft from the stick lifting. That this is probably me stick lifting somebody today when I did that. But so as I'm out there playing, warm-ups were like, it seemed okay. Puck control was looking good and doing just the warm-up stuff. Shots on net seemed to be pretty accurate. So I think I'll just say this, that it plays a lot better in a game than it does at stick and puck for some reason. Typically speaking, I expect a stick to perform pretty decently off of a shooting pad in a store, and then you get it on the ice and it doesn't feel quite as good for some reason. But usually when I get a chance to play with something on the ice, then I'm like, okay, this is what it is. It's good or bad, or indifferent, whatever. So this actually performed better in a game in a game situation than it did in a stick and puck. Long story short, I did notice some things that I was kind of like, this is a little odd. So this is a stiff filling stick, as I mentioned earlier, but there were times when it felt too soft. So I think that maybe was possibly me dropping my hand down, my lower hand on the shaft to do like a hard pass or what have you. So one of the things that you should be aware of. So when I like to shoot from where I stick handle. So see if I can do this here. So I've got my hand on the top of the stick. Some people do this. That's kind of that's for beginner stuff, but usually when I'm stick handling in this general area, my thumb kind of in this area here, I like to also shoot from that area. So I keep my hands fairly close together. This stick likes when you go down to about here. So you're stick handling, and then you slide your hand down on the shaft to get that flex out of it. I don't like that because I can get a shot off quicker if I'm able to keep my hands in one spot, stick handle, and then shoot that way. This requires more effort to do that. So things that would be better for if you skate with your hands close together and you like to stick handle and go straight into a shot, which I think is what you should be doing, probably a low kick point or a mid kick stick would be better for you in that situation. Maybe if you don't cut this down, it would be fine because there'd be more leverage on the end of it here. But take that into consideration. So if you are going to cut it, definitely go down and flex for sure. If this is me coming from an 80 flex super tax, I'm going to a 70 in the Jetspeed, and it feels kind of the same when it comes to the same length, same stiffness rating. But I felt like it's played really well. The puck feels good on the blade. I can definitely feel the soft heel and firm toe. That one I can definitely feel that. So I think that you guys that are using the P28 or the P90TM might have some better luck, especially the P28 guys. You guys might have better luck with this stick just because of that diving board effect. So that's something for you to keep in mind. Works just fine for this P29, but I have rifled it over the net a couple of times. I think because of the fact that this is just that traditional mid curve, and I'm trying to shoot from the toe off of it. So whatever. During the drop in today, I did get 3 points, two goals, 1 assist, and boy, those goals were goals. I will say that. The first shot I took was a snapshot. I was kind of in between the blue line and the top of the circle, off to the right wing since I shoot right, and I sniped a snapshot, top right corner, that was so violent and so hard that it came rifling back out of the net as hard as it went into the net, and everybody stopped playing the entire game of hockey. And this is like kind of a lower intermediate, so it's a drop in level, so it's not like too crazy, but it was hard enough to make everybody literally stop the drop in its tracks that was on the ice. So that I was even surprised because I was like, okay, I guess it can shoot fine. So this is clearly just a me getting used to it. If it can really shoot that hard and it was that accurate from that far away, that really impressed me. I wasn't able to reproduce it the rest of the game, but I still did get some shots off that I was pretty impressed by. The next goal that I scored was a one-timer from the left side. It wasn't a super hard one-timer. It was kind of like a mini half clapper kind of thing. But 5-hold the goalie right on the ice is perfectly controlled, and I could tell you that, that this 1/4 inch of extra height, throat height right here, you guys should get. Guys should get it. Whether you're using a 28 or a 29, you guys should consider it. It like made it really really easy to take that one timer. I had a couple of deflection opportunities that worked really well. It was easy. You should really consider that if you're going to do that. Like, you can easily pick up a bouncing puck with one hand on the top of the stick. It's easy. And I couldn't tell any difference shooting from a regular P29. So that was really cool. The assist I got, I was playing defense for that shift. From the top, the blue line on the left side, left D. Just took a hard wrist shot off the leg pads to create a rebound, which it did, and the guy just tapped it in. So it just, I think the main point is that I was able to put the puck where I wanted to from the blue line, and I have had issues with that with the Hyperlite 2, which is what I was using. So, it all worked, and all the pucks that I sent were good. The rest of the pucks, the passing was not so great today, but I was pretty confident in the passing that I was doing. So I guess where I'm at with this stick is that I kind of thought that I wasn't looking forward to skating today with this thing just because of my negative experience at Stick and Puck, but it kind of grew on me, and it's something I'm going to keep using and see if I can get used to the kick point, and maybe it'll pay off. Now, of course, that's if the durability holds up. I'm just going to toss this tidbit in here today because I went to get my skate sharpened at a Pure Hockey, and they had the new Trigger 10 Pros in stock, which I didn't even know that was a thing yet, to be honest with you. Nowhere could I tell that they have a helicoid blade on them anymore, which could be a really good thing. I will say those blades look suspiciously like this one, but without that helicoid logo that we usually see on the back of the blade on the toe. So it had and by that I mean if you look at the composite texturing and stuff like that you see, actually you can kind of see some of it right here, where it's very angular. It looks exactly the same on the new Trigger 10 Pro, and I don't know if we got the same blade going on or what's happening with that, but anything that doesn't have the word helicoid on it, I'm interested in it. So we'll have to see if this ends up breaking in days. So right now it's currently August 8th of 2025. If this ends up breaking in a short amount of time, I will definitely make another quick video just to kind of tell you what happened. I'm not super worried about the shaft unless something weird happens here, like getting slashed or something, but typically speaking, if I can get about 45 days of playing pickup games twice a week, then I'm happy with how I play. So if it makes it that long, then I consider it a win on durability. So I guess right now where I'm at with it is it's seem to be growing on me a bit. So hopefully that'll keep going on. And, I think the last thing I will say about this thing is holy guacamole, the price. I think I paid like $400 and something after taxes. Like, I don't know if that's like government tariffs or something like that. All I know is I am not personally responsible for the tariffs, even though I live in these United States of America, whatever. But holy Christ, this was enough to make me think that like we should start considering going back to buying brand new Pro Stock sticks from like Sideline Swap or the Hockey Stick Man or wherever you want to get them, because I have had some Pro Stock True sticks in the past. You guys, if you've watched any of my old videos, and they were like $300 and something shipped for two brand new True sticks, Catalysts, I think. And were they as good as this? Almost. Did they last a while? One didn't, but the other one did. So, I would rather have two True sticks, as long as they're Pro Stock. The retail ones are still like not good to me. But the point is, like, maybe consider Pro Stocks if these things are too expensive, because they really haven't come with there really isn't a second price point that is quite good enough to just recommend bumping it down to, instead of a Trigger 8 Pro, go to a Trigger 8, Jetspeed FT8 Pro going down to a Jetspeed FT8. I would rather have a Pro Stock True than an FT8. So if that makes sense. Anyways, nothing else to say about the stick. To me, I still think from my experience with the FT6 Pro, that I think was a good stick. That was probably better than this one at this point. So if you can find a new one of those online somewhere, maybe that's the direction you go. But this is a good stick. Definitely better than what I experienced, than I thought it was going to be. So, anyways, backtracking a little bit, but that's the review for now. Hopefully, this gives you some insight, because there are literally no other real reviews about this stick on the interwebs yet. So, hopefully this provides some insight. Per the usual, send me some questions and I will get back to them. I definitely have been paying attention to the comments and the hiatus that I've been on for the last 6 months, 12 months, however long it's been, and we'll go from there. Other than that, thanks for watching. Okay, what do you think of that stick?
I love the blue! Yay!
That's how you can tell it's good, right?
Yes.